everyone, we are in Medellin right now. Christian, I think, has been in Colombia like 4 or 5 times, and we never came to Medellin, so now we took this weekend to explore the surroundings. And now we are at La Plaza Botero, which is called like that because of the artist Botero, which is famous for the fat sculptures and fat paintings. We will take you around the Plaza Botero. Next to the square you can find also the Museo Antioquia, which is a museum telling the story of the Antioquia region and of Medellin. And also you can find a room for Botero, for the artist of Botero. So if you're interested in seeing his art, then you should enter here. On the Plaza Botero you can find also the Palacio Uribe, which is the culture palace of Medellin. Entering the cultural palace is free, so if it is open you can go up to the 4th floor and have a nice view over Plaza Botero and over all the regions of Medellin.
So we are at the station San Javier, which is where all the tours for Comuna 13 start. So right at the exit you will find a lot of tour guides, and also one of the cable cars that goes over one of these favelas starts here. There are a couple of those around Medellin, and here you can take one, which is obviously very convenient since you're here anyways for the favela Comuna 13.
We are starting now the tour of the Comuna 13 of Medellin, which is a favela, one of the most famous ones because of Pablo Escobar. So in the 80s, this comuna, this favela, was the most violent one. And if you have heard the story of Pablo Escobar, then he built a neighborhood in an area which was this area here, and he recruited young people from this comuna for being his huntsmen or called sicarios. And more history about this comuna we will get to know in this tour.
We joined a free walking tour and started walking. Comuna 13 is a demonstration of superation. After a pacification rage to take out criminal bands and the guerrilla out of this neighborhood, the bad image of the Comuna 13 remained in the heads of Colombians. Tired of the bad image, the young people of the Comuna 13 started to focus on art and started attracting the first tourists with beautiful graffitis. A decade later, Comuna 13 became an art neighborhood with different expressions of art types and attracts tourists from all over the world visiting Medellin.
What do you have right there?
We got cheese arepas, which is probably more cheese than actual dough. Perfect. They're really good. Fantastic.
We just finished our 2-hour tour. One recommendation, so we booked it online and we knew we had to be at 1:30 at the station, at the metro station down there, but we asked around and you don't need to make a reservation. Outside the station there are many guides offering their services from there.
Usually they offer what is a free walking tour, but of course you're supposed to tip at the end. But yeah.
And I was here 10 years ago. It wasn't, this Comuna 13 wasn't for tourists back then. Now it's very touristic, so the streets are very packed, but it's really cool.
It was only after 2015 really that the violence calmed down a lot here, and now it's really safe to walk around. Even in the night we were told, because there is basically there's a big drug ring which makes sure that no robberies, no pickpockets and these sorts of things happen. But as a tourist, you can walk around freely, even at night, we were told.
One thing of history of Comuna 13 is that here, of course, started part of the history of Pablo Escobar, but also the guerrillas ELN and the paramilitares came here. So it was a very violent section, and then the government tried to take these guerrillas out of this area, but it didn't work well, and many civils died, and many families are still looking for their beloved ones.
We are staying in the suburb El Poblado in Medellin, which is famous amongst backpackers. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of nightlife here. It's the place apparently in Medellin if you want to go out clubbing in a bar. Also a lot of hostels obviously around. It's a very nice mixture of international and local vibe. And yep, today we are quite tired, so we are not going to go in a club, but rather to bed and see you tomorrow for a road trip around the surroundings of Medellin. Hello, good morning! As promised, we rented a car and we are on our road trip for the next 2 days around Medellin. Today we are going to visit a few nice little villages, but first things first, breakfast.
So Chris, what are you having for breakfast?
A very typical breakfast which is called calentado, which basically means reheated stuff from the day before.
What is beef?
And so we have beef, we have arepa, we have cheese, we have rice with beans and egg on top. And yeah, that's a very typical Colombian breakfast, although it looks like lunch. We stopped along the way for a coffee, and it's a really nice valley with a nice small river. It's just, there's nothing like special to see in this landscape here, except for obviously the Peñons or the famous rock. But the entire landscape is really nice with small villages, with like places like this where you can just have a coffee and look at the landscape. If you have the possibility to stay for one night outside of Medellin, so you should rent a car for 2 days. Just sleep one night outside of Medellin, close to El Peñón, so the famous large mountain. But then you have time to explore the surroundings, and it's really nice.
Decided to not just look at Guatapé, but look at other beautiful places around Medellin. This one is called Concepción and it's quite beautiful. It looks like the movie Encanto, right? We are in Guatapé, a colonial town, and it is famous for the colors and the decorations along the streets. So on the houses you see on the downside decorations there, and it's quite pretty and also very touristic.
Guatapé is not only a colorful and active town, but it is also where the rock of El Peñol is, a must-do if you are in Medellin.
Good morning and welcome to El Peñón Rock. We are here 8 in the morning sharp when they open, and there's still really not a lot of people here. So we highly recommend come in the morning. You have plenty of time afterwards for all this beautiful landscape and the beautiful villages surrounding here.
The rock is 220 meters and there are 702 stairs.
And this is only half of it. Let's do it! 150. Phew, we made it. Unfortunately, the clouds are not cooperating at all. It's really, really cloudy. There's almost no sun, but hey, anyways, yesterday we were a little bit late and it was beautiful skies. Today it's really cloudy. Apparently it rains here quite a lot, so every afternoon usually it rains a little bit. Keep that in mind if you come here, need some umbrella or something. But yeah, we will wait around a little bit to see if it clears up, but it doesn't really look like it, unfortunately.
As the weather wasn't cooperating, we decided to call it a day and try the next morning.
So the Peñol, this rock, is made from granitic rocks, and it's supposed to be less fractured than all the surroundings here, which is the reason why it withstood erosion much longer than the surrounding area did, and that's why around 65 million years ago the landscape eroded and El Peñol remained. And with some final facts, it's also the end of our trip around Guatapé.
The next station from Medellin is Salento, a town in the heart of the coffee region, or Eje Cafetero in Colombia, a 5 to 6 hour drive from Medellin.
Welcome to the Cocora Valley, which is very close to Salento. You can come here either by your own car, or at the center of Salento you can hire a jeep or just hop on one of those jeeps. I think it's 5,000 Colombian pesos. It's a beautiful valley. There are different hikes you can do here. There's one long one which we are going to do.
It's about 5 hours to 6 hours, 17 kilometers.
And there are also a lot of smaller hikes. There is the main part, which is right at the beginning, and then further back in the mountains is where the longer hikes go.
Over here you see these palms, the vox palms, which are protected, and because of them we have this beautiful landscape. The hike we chose to do starts at the most touristic section with the best viewpoints over the Cocora Valley. Then it goes up into the mountains, up to the Colibri House, and then it goes back along a river.
So you can do this longer hike either clockwise or counterclockwise. In our opinion, we recommend to do it clockwise for two reasons. First of all, if you start in the morning, you have the main tourist attraction, not so crowded, not by yourself, but not quite so crowded. And the second one is this way, the entire walk up will be in shade, whereas the walk down will be down in the valley and there's no shade, or almost no shade. If you do it counterclockwise, you will be hiking the way up in the sun, and if there is sun, of course, very sweaty. We just arrived at which is the highest point of the entire hike. It's called Finca de la Montaña. Here you can have a break, something to drink, something to eat if you want to, and then from here up it's either down and back to a starting point, or along the way there will be another house which costs 15,000 entrance, and they have a lot of colibris there.
Along the way you can find the Colibri House, and here they are fed with a mixture of water and sugar, but also they have several plants with flowers where the colibris love to come to eat. It's really cute to watch them eating.
After the cabin with the hummingbirds, the way is just down, 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 down. There are some nice bridges, it's in the valley, with a small river. It's really beautiful. It's 1.5 hours more or less until you're back at the car through a magnificent rainforest.
The trekking trail around the Cocora Valley took us about 7 hours, including going to the Hummingbird house and coming back. Now we're going to enjoy a delicious meal with fish and patacón. After this very good meal, we're going to hang out in Salento and watch the sunset from above a viewpoint. Now in this cafe region we will do of course a cafe tour where they will show us how to get the coffee, how to roast it and how to taste it. Come with us.
So now they put us to work. We're supposed to collect just a few of these beans, and they are red and green and yellow, and if they're green you can't collect them, but yellow and red. They're ripe and ready for processing.
After learning about the coffee production and how to properly drink it, it was time for us to go home. Up next, we visit the Amazonas rainforest, get to know indigenous cultures, and get to know wild animals.
Thanks for watching!
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below.
And leave us a comment. We would like to hear your opinions and thoughts.